Hello, hello, and welcome back. So on Friday, I was joined by Kelly, who did the very first Thrive program back in 2019. Today, I'm joined by Hazel. Thank you, Hazel, for joining me live and embracing live video. I know people get quite nervous about it, so I'm always very, very grateful for people who are happy to join on a live video and answer questions about their experience of the Thrive program. So if you are joining us live, or even actually if you're watching back, feel free to join the conversation and ask any questions. I'm sure Hazel won't mind if we throw in an extra question. She might not even notice. And then this gives you an opportunity to find out, not from me, but from the people who have completed the program, a little bit more about what it's about and what people have got out of the program. So Hazel, do you want to tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, just to give people a bit of an idea?
Yeah, strange. So I work for myself as a virtual assistant. I'm a mum. I've got horses, and my other half's also self-employed because he's a farmer. So we juggle quite a lot at home, work, everything. What they say about don't work with children and animals, well, one way or another I do both. So quite busy, and yeah, got a really active mind, I suppose. So I don't find it easy shutting off. So just quite a lot of things going on all the time.
Yeah. So you did the program last January 2020?
Yeah, I can't remember whether we were in lockdown or not now, to be honest.
Yeah, so I think just before, so yeah, we finished the end of March, so first term, end of March, we finished just as we were going into lockdown. I think that was the program that you did, but yeah. I guess the key question really is what ultimately helped you to make the decision to sign up?
Well, mostly because I got to know you, to be honest, because I can get, obviously with all those things I'm juggling, it's not a surprise that I can get stressed and overthink and not see the wood for the trees sometimes. And asking for help is not something that I find easy. And also, if I want help, it's got to be from the right kind of person, someone who's not, well, everybody's got different things they like. I don't always want someone who's just going to boss me around or going to be shocked if I just burst into tears because I'm stressed. So it was getting to know you and know that I couldn't really freak you out, or that you're very good at being patient and seeing that you may not get it necessarily, but that doesn't stop you being supportive, really.
Because you signed up with coaching, didn't you? So you signed up on what I would call the sort of tier 2, so with the 3 coaching sessions as part of the program, so that we could kind of delve into things like away from the rest of the group in that sort of those one-to-one sessions.
They were my favourite bit, I think, the one-to-ones.
Okay. Yes, sorry, go on.
Just because the group was lovely, and I can still remember the ladies' faces on the Zoom, so I wouldn't get all the names, but it's easier to be more open when it's not a group.
So was that one of the concerns that you had before you signed up, the sort of that interacting with other people in the group, or were there other, because everybody, you know, when you sign up to something, we all have the little worries or the little concerns. So I'm just intrigued as to what, you know, was that one of the concerns that you had, with that interaction with the rest of the group?
Yeah, I guess I knew it was groups. We had group stuff weekly, didn't we, online? Yeah. And then the Facebook group was a bit easier because easier to share when you're typing a message that people read than it is to do it this way. And I think we were quite a quiet group, and you always said to us, like, the first couple of weeks, everybody sits back. No one wants to share because no one's sure what's okay. And I guess that was before the first couple of sessions. That was what I was thinking. Like, what are people going to find? Like, what level of sharing is normal?
Yeah.
Because it is still your quite like your personal life and your private life in a lot of it. I mean, some of it's linked to your work, but it's how you feel about it. So it was how is that going to go in a group? So, but once somebody had braved it, I can't remember who was the first person, but once some people had shared little bits,
Yeah.
it got easier to share snippets, and you kind of found a natural way to share enough, but not too much.
Yeah, and this was something that Kelly was talking about on Friday. That actually, there's some weeks where you feel more comfortable sharing a little bit more, and then there's other weeks where you want to take in the information but not necessarily share things with the group, and so you can kind of step forward and step back, and different people in the group did that at a different time. So there were always people talking and sharing, but not always the same people every week.
Yeah.
So it was, and it's quite similar for a lot of the groups, I guess. So was there anything in the program that you particularly liked? Was there anything that you, I would say, like the most, but was there anything that you really enjoyed about like this program in particular?
I think having the physical worksheets, I wasn't the best student in some ways because I didn't always get the worksheets done before the sessions, but having them there to like sit down and do them and come back to, and that kind of thing just made it more in depth. Like, it wasn't just like listening to a webinar, you might take it in and then walk away and forget it. It was more relevant, and you could really let it sink in and become like a new habit. And I can't remember if my planner was part of my tier, whether I had it already, but my physical planner is still by my bed, daily written in. So yeah.
That's really good. That's really good to know. And is there anything that you learned whilst you were on the program that has had the most impact for you? Can you kind of pinpoint one thing that had the most
Probably
impact?
just something you say quite a lot, I think, about like stuff being reframing stuff. So I can't remember which bit we talked about it in, but I get anxious about bits and bobs. And you did something about, well, that is what could happen, but go and think about all the other options. And that was something like reframing a thought that I thought was just there, and that was how I was going to think of something forever, and actually catch myself now and go, yeah, that could happen, but Zoe would probably say there's other options. And it's just helped me like stop and not let that panic train run away with itself.
Yeah. So is that something that has had an impact, like personal and like in your personal and professional life? Is it something that kind of sits across both?
I'd say probably more personal, just because that's where I tend to panic more.
Yeah.
Still a work in progress, because parenting does make that quite a challenge to pause and go, okay. But yeah, more personal than anything.
Yeah, it's really interesting to hear you still talk about it now, and the fact that you are still using it. So I know that you felt that you benefited from the program. Has there been anybody else, or who else has benefited from you doing the program?
I suppose you'd have to ask them to know that, really. I didn't. My little one was too young to really know I was doing something like that.
Yeah.
My other half knew, but he lets me get on with something that's quite personal. So I guess he would possibly say he's noticed a difference. I suppose we're using the planner still. I'm still mindful of bits and bobs and I record things so that we notice trigger points, and if I can notice them, hopefully we can work on them. So I'd hope it's helping, but I don't feel I can answer for him really.
No, that's fair enough. It's that I think from I guess the angle from the question is that Kelly last week was talking about how she's noticed that she interacts with her clients, like that she's better at managing her time in work, so it's had an impact on her work, but also just how it's impacted how she's communicated with other people, so that's sort of helped relationships around her a little bit more. So it's that sort of question of whether or not you've noticed that it's had an impact. You mentioned personally whether it's had an impact for you, with you being self-employed, running your business, if you are worrying a little bit less, has that had an impact, and whether or not you had picked up on anything. But if it's that, it's just that noticeable element.
With lockdown and everything, like you said, we finished just as it started, so the pressures of the last year have been quite intense, so everything still is a work in progress, but actually thinking about it now, I'm like, oh well, it's reminded me of a lot of it, and I think I might go away and be more mindful after today, because it's like having a refresher just talking about it.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing, isn't it? Is that we came out of the program as we were going into lockdown, and I think because of the timing of it, this time last year, we didn't know what that impact was going to be. I mean, the fact that we've just had a minute's silence for the thousands of people who've passed away, and the impact that it's had on people's lives in the last 12 months, we had no idea that any of that was on the horizon. So it's interesting to hear from my point of view, to hear how people have used some of the things that we talked about on Thrive to manage and cope with the last 12 months, and how it still pops up occasionally, like you said, just being more mindful of some of the things that we talked about, but just the things that pop up that still help people even sort of a year later. Yeah. So who do you think Thrive is good for? Like who do you think Thrive is for? Like who would you sort of recommend it to?
Well, I suppose when you say, like when you were talking then, I thought, well, you said who benefited from me doing Thrive, and I think outside of my family, I've recommended it or recommended people in your direction quite a lot since, because even though I can't always describe what you do if they haven't come across it, like a lot of my friends that have had like frontline jobs, or families that have changed dynamic because of lockdown or one thing or another, or just people that are like too much in their own heads, like not being kind to themselves, and when they're like, if I'm chatting to someone and they're like, I just get really stressed about it, or I can't think what to do about it, I'm like, well, here you go, here's Zoe, off you go. not in just like a trying to palm them off way, but you're very good at, and the program was very good at just getting us to take one step at a time and just think about it bit by bit. And I still now every day think, right, drink more water was one physical thing I could do to make it better. And it's not big and it's not difficult, it's just remembering to fill my glass up. So I liked that small bit at a time, and you don't notice that you've changed your lifestyle slightly just by doing something small. So I guess I just recommended it to friends and family, and people that are not very good at being kind to themselves or giving themselves a break.
I think that's the challenge, isn't it, of a lot of the people who do the program. Like one of the first things you said was how you are really busy, how you do have lots going on. You run your business, your partner runs his business, you've got a young child, that actually giving yourself permission to take that time to take the step back and work on you and work on life and work on small changes that you want to make to help make life better is really important, but not something that many of us do, because we tend to put a lot of people first.
Yeah, I think we all think we've just got to keep going, and you can't always. You can keep going, but sometimes you need to slow down or change how you go about it.
Yeah,
So I
so
didn't
true.
stop doing anything. I just did it slightly differently to try and make it easier for me.
Yeah, and that's what Kelly picked up on last week, was that she was saying that, you know, it's not that you're doing it wrong, it's just finding different ways that might help it to be better for you or might help it to be better for other people. So it's not about having to completely change, it's just kind of tweaking things to make it better.
Yeah.
which is good, isn't it? So if there is somebody who is watching this who's looked at the program and is as yet undecided, is there any advice that you could offer them to help them decide whether or not this is a good next step for them?
I'd just say, if they haven't already, speak to you in person, whether it's like on the computer or on the phone, but not written, like actually talk to you physically,
Yeah,
just to make sure that you and them speak the same sort of language and have got the same way of thinking. Because I think if you don't interact, like if they interact well with you, then the rest of it will follow. So they've got to feel happy around you.
yeah. Yeah, that's really good advice. And you know, coaching is very personal. It's a very personal space to step into. You have to feel comfortable and feel that you can be open and honest to get the most out of the journey. So that's really good advice. And you know, I'll be the first to say I'm not for everybody. But there are a lot of coaches out there, and if I know that if I'm not a good flavour for you, I can give you I can put you in contact or give you contact details of other coaches who I think would be a good fit and a good match. So yeah, that's really good advice. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you think people need to know?
I don't know. No, I guess no. That's a big question.
I just thought what I didn't want to do was cut you off before, and you to have something that you wanted to say or wanted to share. But I really appreciate the fact that you've come on and shared your experience. Because, like I said, it's not. Firstly, it's on camera. Secondly, it's live, and thirdly, it is you talking about something that was a personal experience for you. So I do appreciate your time. I know you are incredibly busy, so thank you so much. I have put some details in already before we went live. I will put in some contact details as well, including the link to book in a call if anybody does want to have a quick chat. There's plenty of time to secure your space on the next program, but I'm more than happy to have a chat with people if they want to find out a little bit more. But Hazel, thank you so much. I will speak to you again soon, no doubt. And if you have any questions and you've been watching back, feel free to ask. I'll keep my eye on the comments and be in touch with answers to any questions that people have. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Hazel, for your time, and we will see you very soon.
Bye.
Thank you.